other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Robert Callahan with the Internet Association. We're also here in opposition to SB 593. First, I want to echo the comments of Mr. Owen and state that the greater internet industry and online community has ample reason to be concerned about the precedents established by this bill. First, requiring home sharing platforms to turn over broad swaths of internet user data to hundreds of local governments around the state for various enforcement purposes is a troublesome and overbroad precedent. We believe it would violate the privacy expectations of online communities and is at best an unnecessary tool for local governments to accomplish their mission of enforcement of their local laws. Remember, the data is not being required in order to respond to known or even suspected wrongs. It's being required so that local government enforcement officials can monitor home sharing activity and search for potential violations of local land use and zoning laws. And this is a far cry away from the probable cause or other evidentiary burdens that government would typically face before even being able to search for criminal wrongdoing, let alone in this case where the wrongdoing is sharing one's home in the sharing economy. The desire for local government to ensure 100% compliance with local ordinances do not justify the result that internet users sacrifice their expectation of privacy when engaging in online commerce. And just because an internet platform does contain such a robust amount of data that would be useful for enforcement purposes, we need to think beyond that easiest pathway to enforcement about the broader concerns and precedent it would establish for the internet. Obviously, this is a slippery slope with broader implications for the larger internet economy. What is to prevent governments from requiring other internet businesses to turn over user data for similar monitoring purposes? Should e-commerce sites be required to constantly turn over all purchase and sales data on each of its users to the government just so enforcement officials can look through the records for potential violations of local laws? This would strike a serious imbalance between the desire of government to enforce its many laws and U.S. citizens' broad rights to privacy. Second, Section C of SB 593 would turn home sharing platforms into quasi-enforcement arms of local government agencies by requiring these sites to not facilitate any listing that would otherwise be prohibited by local ordinance. And I think this is a key point because it's not just addressing those instances where a local jurisdiction has prohibited a home sharing activity. It would require full compliance. So if you've over your cap of 120 days or whatever your cap may be, if you haven't fully registered, then you would be otherwise prohibited by the local ordinance, and therefore we would be in just default violation of the bill. And I think that's very troublesome and frankly impractical for home sharing platforms like Airbnb that are in so many different jurisdictions around the globe. Finally, the section that would allow for extensive penalties against home sharing platforms is a bit ironic because it would require the local government to give us the information on who is in violation, the residents, the address, so that we can remove the listing. Well, if that information exists, you can go enforce against that person. And if there are sufficient deterrents to not being in violation of local ordinances, that listing will be removed by the host. Should not be sort of a looming threat placed on home sharing platforms so that if they don't remove, they're subject to civil penalties, which can reach into thousands or millions. So for these reasons and others, we oppose the bill.
Okay, thank you. Other speakers, please. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman, committee members. My name is Dustin Batten, and I am here on behalf of Cal Innovates. We oppose Senate Bill 593. We represent companies across the Golden State that are improving industries and expanding economic opportunities for Californians through innovative technologies.
I didn't hear who are you representing?
Cal Innovates.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, the gentleman before, who you're from?
The Internet Association. Okay. I apologize.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, please.
I'm here today to voice concerns that we have about Senate Bill 593. As we know, the economic and entrepreneurial landscape is evolving at a mercurial pace and is almost impossible to keep up with today's innovations. We find ourselves in a golden era of personal enterprise economy, and companies like Airbnb are at the forefront of this exciting time. The extra income made by sharing a room or a home endows Californians across the state with economic flexibility. This flexibility has contributed to individual freedoms across the state, allowing families to supplement their income, students to pay off student loans, and young professionals to live in expensive cities. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness become a little easier to accomplish when one is less encumbered by financial pressures. We wonder whether Senate Bill 593 is but a veiled attempt by government to take another piece of the pie. With this bill, an individual who owns a home, pays their property taxes, and pays their mortgage would now also have to pay an extra tax on how they utilize their own home. How does this benefit a homeowner or entrepreneur? Yes, the new landscape of the sharing economy is evolving rapidly, and yes, this innovation is disrupting the status quo. But we have the opportunity to make the right difference, to reject apprehension, and embrace how these technologies can change our lives. Applying blanket laws that impede the abilities of Californians to share their homes is no way to encourage innovation. Allowing for disparate laws applied unevenly across the state is no way to encourage innovation. And certainly ensnaring Californians in further bureaucratic red tape for the sake of bureaucratic red tape is no way to encourage further innovation. Taxing innovation won't change the fact that the status quo itself has changed. Californians are voting with their dollars and their homes, with thousands opening up their living spaces to share with a stranger while augmenting their income. These services are wanted, they are needed. We would not be having this debate if they weren't. This proposed bill is a well-intentioned governmental overreach that will only serve to punish hardworking Californians who utilize these services to improve their quality of life. Taxing good old-fashioned American ingenuity won't stop the change. Instead, California should take this opportunity to make a difference in a changing society. Let's embrace these changes, work to understand them, and make a joint effort to utilize them for the benefit of every single Californian. Cal Innovates urges the Senate to reject Senate Bill 593. Thank you.
Senator Allen, you have a question?
Just to clarify, so you are arguing that that internet-based companies shouldn't be subject to the same kinds of taxes that folks on the ground are having to pay?
Could you give a specific example of that type of tax or regulation or what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, I heard the same arguments with vis-a-vis Amazon, right? That were, this isn't, you're taxing American ingenuity. This is not an appropriate form of taxation of the economy. And I kind of hear that same argument being made here.
Yeah, let's speak specifically to homeowners. Homeowners, they pay their property taxes, they pay their mortgage. Why are we going to tax them now on how they utilize that home? They're the homeowner. Why not let them utilize that to create a new life for themselves? I mentioned, we're talking about the status quo, but the status quo has changed.
But this is not suggesting a taxation of homeowners.
No, in some communities, isn't that one of the regulations? There would be a fee or a tax, or depending on the community. That was our understanding.
Do you want to clarify, author, or
I know there are some communities that outright ban it.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Well, my understanding is that it would be the tax would be collected as part of the portal, right? Just like any kind of online hotel or hospitality service, the tax is collected at that stage, and then in compliance with local TOT.
I'm a host. I might be able to answer that question.
Hold on. Do you want?
Mr. Chair, I don't mean to open this into a big discussion. I was just trying to get a better sense of his. I was trying to understand the essential argument, because I thought
All right. Well, you asked the question. Now we can have other people speak and attempt to respond, if that's okay. We'll have other witnesses, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Ignacio Hernandez on behalf of Consumer Watchdog.
Yeah.
We have some serious privacy concerns with this bill, and our concerns are strictly anchored in the privacy components of the bill. It's not on whether or not there should be ordinances prohibiting the practice or limiting the practice or taxing the practice. It's simply on how this bill is drafted. And so let me make a couple of points very clear, and I did hear the comments of the proponents early on. One is this is a standalone statute that is being proposed, which would allow the government to collect information from a third-party private company, and that information that is being provided is information about their customers. Essentially, homeowners are paying for an ad. I'm going to shorthand it a little bit. And this bill would say that that company would have to turn over information to the local government. The way the bill is drafted, it's not connected to collection of taxes. It's not connected to any other regulatory scheme or activity. It simply says that it must be reported unless there's an ordinance that opts out. The concern is that the information typically the privacy protections that we have in California require some sort of legal action pending legal action or regulatory action in order to force a company to turn over information about its customers. And that's essentially what we are talking about. Think about it in this way. If there's a newspaper, and there's a local newspaper in Sacramento that has a lot of ads about medicinal marijuana or massage parlors, and if law enforcement and local government wanted to collect information about who paid for that ad or how much they charged, they could not simply walk into that newspaper company and collect that information. They would need to go through a court process, either subpoena or a warrant, to collect that information from the private company and that information about their customers. This is essentially the same framework that we should have in place here. Instead, the bill just makes it clear that the platform companies would have to turn over the information, which includes how much money or how much income a host has collected. And that is information that is critical. Now, if this were done simply through a regulatory action or simply on the taxing framework or from that entity, it's a different discussion. This is information collected from a third party. If I'm a host and I've contracted with Airbnb, I have some sort of expectation of privacy that that company should not divulge any of my information, including how much I've been paid. That's how it works, whether we're talking about cell phone companies, whether we're talking about ISPs, whether we're talking about a whole host of other private companies in California. That's how it works. That's why we have the privacy protections in the California Constitution, and that's why we have a number of other laws. Telephone companies can't even reveal if I've purchased call forwarding or call waiting. By statute, they are prohibited from disclosing that information. So the way it's currently contained, I know it's talked about within the taxing framework, this is not a tax or a regulatory bill.
Thank you. We had 4 witnesses extensively discuss this. We'll go to the next witness. Be brief, please, short.
Yes.
And then we'll hear from the public.
Senator Bill, Senators, thank you for this opportunity to speak before you. My name is Phil Wilson. I'm president and CEO of the Black AIDS Institute. I've been involved in the nonprofit sector for over 35 years. So why am I here? The nonprofit sector, like all of our communities, have been impacted by the downturn in the economy. And in our organization, we look for ways to save on resources, and we happen on to the community, the home share environment as a way to do that. In our organization, we were able to reduce the cost of our staff going out to different places by using the home share environment and reduce our costs by 35%. We were able to reduce to maintain my salary because I became an Airbnb host, and that helped us continue to be viable as an organization. So that's one of the points why I'm here. But I am a Airbnb host, and in 2011, there was a flood in my house. I was insured, but it did not cover all of the costs to restore my house. And because I was participating in the home share environment, I was able to do that. As I look around this room, some of you have adult children that require your support. Some of you probably have older parents that require your support. I have both. And by participating in the home share environment, that allows me to support my aging parents, and it also provides me an opportunity to support my adult children. So this enterprise helps me maintain my home, helps me contribute back to my community, and helps support my family. Also, in the community, people who—
Sir, can you wrap it up, please?
I will.
Yes,
So people,
please, right now.
Okay, so there was the question about the taxes. So the way that it works, this is my tax form. Now, I register with the City of Los Angeles, I fill out the form, and I pay the taxes. The problem with this is that Airbnb is a vendor. They're a third party. Now, it's my responsibility to pay the taxes. I fill out the form every month, and I do that. Finally, and I will wrap it right now, on this issue about affordable housing, now, I've been involved in this area for a long time, and it is a serious issue, and it's disrespectful for all of our Californians who sleep on the streets every day to pretend by attacking the home sharing environment that's going to address the affordable housing issue in our community. It's a real problem. We should address it in real ways. It's a problem that existed before home share was an issue in our communities, long before Airbnb, and we should take it on in a real way, and we should not disrespect it by using a smokescreen to address it.
Okay, thank you. Can we have, no applauding, please. Can we have names and support, name, organization, and your position on the bill? Thank you.
Sure. Samantha Corbin with the Electronic Frontier Foundation. We haven't formally filed our opposition to this bill. We were hoping to analyze and find some amendments that might address our concerns regarding the privacy implications. We have not come up with those at this time, but we do want to echo the concerns of Consumer Watchdog regarding the very serious privacy implications of this type of bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Roth, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to get some clarification. I mean, I'm a little confused. I didn't think we were debating the applicability of the transit occupancy tax. I guess I thought the question was who pays it and who collects it. So the privacy issues, I don't get. I mean, I don't like to pay taxes either, so I guess I have a constitutional right to privacy argument when I report my sources of income to the federal government and to the franchise tax board, but unfortunately, they don't agree with me. So let me ask my question. How does the money flow here? Does the money flow through Airbnb?
Senator McGuire, you want to answer that? Or
Related to, so currently, as far as the hosts,
Right.
so right now, an individual can list their home on Airbnb. The individual homeowner is currently responsible now, with the exception of some cities. Airbnb has started collecting the tax via online.
No, not the tax. Where does the money for the room go?
It goes there's a charge to be able to list on the site, and then the owner of the home also gets what they need. But why don't you answer that in regards to Airbnb? It's a listing service, and you have to pay to take part of the site, so please.
Sure. So for our side, I can't speak for all the other internet platforms in the space. When a guest and a host agree to a booking, we collect the funds at that time, and then we remit them to the host. We add an additional fee. So the host would receive 97%. We take a 3% fee from them, and an additional host is added to the guest fee.
So aside from all the other issues that have been discussed, how difficult from a practical standpoint would it be for you to calculate and remit the transit occupancy tax?
You know, we began last summer in Portland. It was the first city in the world where we started a pilot program, and we were the only company in this space. There are a number who did that. We've now expanded that program to a number of other cities, including San Francisco, San Jose, Chicago, Malibu most recently. There are a number of logistical difficulties. It's certainly not impossible, but I think one of the critical questions as we continue to look at how this program expands, and I think you've seen that it has over the last almost year since we began doing this, is whether the tax is actually applicable to all the other market participants. We have voluntarily stepped into our host's shoes in a number of cities in order to collect and remit. And I did want to take issue with this chart. In San Francisco, as in all cities where we are collecting and remitting, we do so on 100% of the transactions that occur in that market.
You operate in multiple jurisdictions?
Correct.
So I assume that you have to comply as a company with the rules and regulations and fees associated with operating in multiple jurisdictions?
I think the critical distinction there is whether the hotel tax applies to third-party website operators such as ours. And in most California cities, it is our belief, and certainly that of all the other competitors in our field, that they do not. And this question is the subject of litigation between various cities and companies like Expedia, which is going up before the Supreme Court now, and which, unfortunately for the cities, they have lost almost entirely across the board.
But it would not be that difficult for Airbnb to collect the transit occupancy tax from the homeowner who is renting out a room at the same time that you collect your fee.
That's correct, and that's in fact what we do in the cities where we've begun doing this. I wouldn't agree that it's not terribly difficult, given that, as the senator rightly notes, there are 431 plus 55 different jurisdictions, and that's not accounting for special assessments, which might apply. There are logistical issues, but it's certainly possible.
But you make the choice as a company to operate in those various jurisdictions.
We have hosts who list their properties and use us as a service for that. Yes.
So how difficult is it for you? My understanding, this goes to this privacy issue, my understanding from the analysis and my quick second read of the bill here is that what the information is that's being requested is the address, the total number of nights, and the amounts paid. So how difficult is that for Airbnb to report to the particular taxing entity?
I think there's several questions there, actually, Senator, and it's not necessarily that these requests, or it certainly doesn't appear that the purpose of this request in the Senator's legislation, SB 593, is to aid tax collection. In fact, it seems explicitly aimed at aiding or requiring us to, in fact, take on the land use enforcement side, which is what the significant concern is that's raised for us. The bill itself appears to establish penalties for platforms if they list or allow users to list sites that are out of compliance, and that is, it appears, the purpose of requesting that data.
Well, that may be a secondary objective or a result of what goes on here, but you would also need that information to compute whether or not the transit occupancy tax remitted is accurately calculated or not, would you not?
Sure, and in nearly every jurisdiction where we are now collecting and remitting that occupancy tax, we do, through contractual arrangement with the tax collection authority, we provide anonymized transaction level detail, which is sufficient to allay their questions about audit. And in fact, we have been audited by several of those jurisdictions, and that's the information that we provide.
Now, one last question, Mr. Chair, if I may. Thank you for your patience. I just want to indicate that I am somewhat concerned about the prohibition on the hosting platforms with respect to city and county ordinances. In this respect, it's one thing to figure out what a transit occupancy tax rate is. It's another, perhaps, to understand and comprehend what the various local zoning rules and ordinances are with respect to a residence that may be sitting on one street out of 350 in a municipality. So I'd ask the author to take a look at that and see if there was perhaps the prohibition should not apply until the hosting platform has been notified that there is a problem. And I didn't see that in the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Everybody at the table spoken. We have people that would like to speak opposing the bill. Please come to the microphone. Thank you. Yeah,
Hi.
Senator, yeah, that's good. Okay, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Elizabeth from Occidental. TOT, check. Neighborhood complaints, none. Frustrating 35 to 40 hours trying to abide by the confusing permit process. Drove 2 hours round trip to the office, paid $2,082 in fees. Told if anyone appeals, I pay a minimum of $2,200 more. I find this a direct violation of my personal freedom and homeowner rights. Since cities are in the process of updating codes to accommodate this new phenomenon, it only makes sense that those of us who wish to be law-abiding have a little extra time before getting penalized.
Okay.
Vote no on 593.
Okay, can you identify yourself, and then if you represent any organization, and then just your position on this particular legislation?
My name is Fazia Cavill, and I'm a member of the Vineyard community in South Sacramento.
Okay.
I support home sharing because I believe sharing cultural experiences brings us closer together.
Okay.
Because my home has wheelchair access, it has allowed families with disabilities to gather together in a central location affordably. If this bill passes, creating legislative barriers, they could no longer be together in my home. Thank you.
Okay, I want people to understand what I'm asking them to do, okay? I'm asking them to stand before the microphone, tell me your position on the bill, if you identify any organization and your name, and that's it.
Okay, please vote no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Matney. I am a tax attorney, and I pay all of my taxes. I'm a proud Airbnb host, so please vote no on SB 593.
Thank you.
Hello, Senator McGuire. My name's Elsa. Hello, members of the community. I am from Healdsburg. I grew up in Healdsburg. My family's been there for 45 years. Went to Healdsburg High School, class of 92. And, sorry?
I said I'm 97.
You're 97, there you go. I thought anyway, so my family's been contributing members of Healdsburg community for over 45 years. Over the past 15 years, the economy of our hometown has radically shifted, as you know, in a beautiful way, but also a demanding way for the local community. The cost of living has dramatically increased, pushing many long-term residents out of the area. I used to work at the Hotel Healdsburg, and I've watched firsthand how the small town culture I grew up in has shifted into a world-famous tourist attraction. Oh, sorry.
You know, you're supposed to identify yourself,
Hi, I'm Elsa, and I represent myself.
and then tell me your position on the bill.
And my position is please vote no on the
Okay,
bill.
thank you, thank you,
Please.
thank you.
It means everything to me. Can I,
That's what we want from you.
you want to hear any more?
All right, that's fine. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, that's a long day. Come on.
I'm Caitlin Kirk. I'm an Airbnb host, and I oppose this bill.
Okay, thank you very much.
My name is Vivian Terry. I'm a Sacramento resident, and I've been involved in home sharing since I was 6 years old here in Midtown Sacramento. And I have a disability. Hosting allows me to stay in my home and pay my bills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vote no.
Thank you.
My name is Linda Lighthizer. I'm here from Daly City, California, and I oppose this bill.
Thank you.
Kevin Creechy from District 11, and we're home sharing. We have an in-law where our in-laws actually stay part of the year. The rest of the year it's empty. Otherwise, we need to raise money to pay our medical bills. I was just diagnosed with Parkinson's and blah, blah, blah. I pay my taxes. I get a 1099. Please vote no on.
Where's District 7? Hi, sir. Where? Oh, District 11, you said? Okay, District 11. Okay.
No, that's
What city do you live in?
Oh, San Francisco.
Okay, okay, there we go. Okay,
Over that west.
I didn't know what District 7 is or whatever. Okay, go ahead, sir. Please, yeah.
My name is David Vischer. I live in Davis, California.
Okay.
Please vote no on 593. I want the right to rent a room in my house to anybody I please. I'm not here representing Airbnb. I'm representing my right to rent a room out to visiting scholars in my community.
Hi, Andrea Basio, Sonoma County, Airbnb host for over 2 years. We do everything on the up and up and pay taxes on our income and have only had respectful, positive experiences with our guests. Thank you. Please oppose this bill.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Mary. I'm an Airbnb host from Sonoma County, and I have 3 minor children. One is severely autistic, and so I had to give up my career to be his full-time caretaker. And the way I've been able to stay in the home and do that is by being an Airbnb host. And it's really saved our family, so please vote no on Senate Bill 593.
Hi, my name is Alin. I'm from Sebastopol, and it's really made an impact in our lives. I may actually be able to retire someday. My husband works 7 days a week. We own a small company, and it's a lot of hard work. We have 2 little kids, and we like spending time with them, and this enables us to do that more. Please, please vote no on SB 593. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Esther San Miguel from San Francisco. The income we make renting a room in our house is vital for my family. I have 2 small children and my husband with a medical condition. Please don't kill short-term rentals by over-regulating and making it go underground. It is cheaper for California to encourage people to generate their own income with their house and pay taxes, which I do, all of them, and that go on welfare. Please oppose Senate's Bill 593. It is not fair to us and not financially responsible for California.
Hey, I want people to just be brief, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm John Elgart from the Curtis Park neighborhood here in Sacramento, and we've been Airbnb hosts and guests for 5 years. It's a great avenue of cultural exchange, and I urge you to oppose this bill. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda Elgart, also in Curtis Park. We're homeowners. We just have 1 room, only 1 or 2 guests. We're self-employed, going to be retiring in a few years, and it will be nice for the extra income. So please vote no on 593.
Hello, my name is Katie. I'm an Airbnb host here in Sacramento. I'm also a stay-at-home mother to my 2-year-old son, Cooper. Because of this brilliant, safe, and effective home sharing platform, I'm now earning enough extra income to continue to stay at home with my baby boy, so I won't miss a second of him growing up. Please vote no on this bill.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Doug McDougall from Roseville, representing myself. We are Airbnb hosts. I have been a proud and I think a very grateful taxpayer for 37 years. I've worked full-time, but man, I would like to retire. I would really, and Airbnb is going to help me pay down the mortgage, and I may be able to retire before I hit 70. So what we do not need is another layer of regulation, another law, another set of laws. There are already laws on the books. Please, I urge you, vote no on this bill.
I'm Rosemarie LaRocca, and I've been a resident of Placer County for over 33 years, and I've been an Airbnb host and traveler for over 3. We've had the good fortune to have bankers and nurses and expectant grandparents be in our home with us. We would have never met them otherwise. Also, it's brought us the crucial income to fence our yard when a puppy came our way unexpectedly and our refrigerator broke down. I urge you, vote no on SB 593.
I'm Jill Sherrill, and I'm a host here in Sacramento of my primary and only residence, which was saved from foreclosure due to home sharing, which I began in 2008, and of approximately 40 guests that I've had, not one has been a tourist, not one.
My name is Brianna Monroe. I'm a homeowner in Sacramento, Airbnb host, social worker. Please vote no. Thank you.
My name is Angela Mia, host here in Sacramento. I respectfully ask that you vote no on this bill.
Hi, I'm Jill Mitchell. I'm a homeowner because of Airbnb here in Sacramento, and I host medical fellows at UC Davis who need month-long stints near the hospital. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heather Simone. I've been a homeowner in Land Park for 11 years and a host for Airbnb for a year and a half. I urge you to vote no.
Hi, my name is Melanie Maharshand. I'm a resident of Sausalito. I have a second home in Truckee. I'm not your typical Marin mom. I urge you to vote no on SB 93. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maria Lobanovsky. I'm a resident of Sonoma, City of Sonoma for the past 15 years. I pay all my taxes, federal, state, local, you name it, my entire adult life. Please vote no on SB 593.
I'm Sean Wakefield, Wakefield Landscape, Auburn, California. Ted Gaines, one of his constituents. I urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nick Hurley from Elk Grove. My wife and I are local business owners and hosts, and we urge that you vote no on this bill.
Good afternoon, Andrea DeVoe on behalf of TechNet. For the reasons stated by the expert witnesses at the table and in the line, we're opposed to the bill. Thank you.
My name is Jan Neufeld. I live in San Francisco. I'm an Airbnb host. I'm a retiree able to continue living in my home, the only home I want to live in San Francisco because of Airbnb. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Raymond Costantino. I am an Airbnb host. I live basically 10 blocks from here, and I started doing this when I was unemployed, and this really helped get me through and keep my house, and so I ask that you vote no on 593.
My name is Deborah Ray. I'm a downtown resident and host, and I urge you to vote no on this bill, SB 593. Thank you.
Daniel Sherrill, longtime Sacramento resident, Airbnb host. Please vote no on SB 593. Thank you.
Kimo Keo, Davis, California. Please vote no on SB 593.
Susan Bush, I'm 74. I'm an Army retiree, and it's helped me keep in my home Airbnb. Please vote no on SB 973.